Welcome back to my next playthrough series. This time we're going to be looking at Space Cadets away missions. Just showing you the front of the scenario book. You can see I think there's like 20 or so different scenarios. We're just going to be doing the very first scenario, the Mercury alien probe. So something has crash landed on Mercury, and I'll show you inside the book here the setup, and then we'll take a look at, I'm going to be playing with two characters, Chief Lance DeSoto and First Officer Ann Fletcher, and show you how that's set up, how the board gets set up, and basic rundown of how the game is played. And then, of course, the next episode we will get right into doing the turns and trying to see if we can complete the mission. So let's take a look at the first mission at Mercury and see what it entails. Alright, again, I'm not sure how well this is focusing. You may be able to make out all the text. I'm not sure. Anyway, each scenario has a map layout. It tells you how to place the tiles, and we'll take a look at the tiles here in a minute. And then in this particular scenario, we are hunting down a Sentinel, which is a big melee combat space alien monster. And we will be running into saucerman leaders and saucerman just plain saucermen. So we can take a look at those right now. So this is the saucerman leader, and this game comes with quite a ton of miniatures. Saucerman leader here, kind of cool looking. And then we have the regular saucerman, and they come in 4 different varieties, bright green sculpts. So the saucerman and the sentinel that we are trying to hunt down and take out for this scenario is this big ugly guy right here. And he has 4 hit points. And all the other guys, of course, just have 1. And so, yeah, the box comes with lots and lots of minis. So basically, there's been an SOS sent. Something crash landed on Mercury, and the miners get together, grab a couple of atomic rifles. So we're going to have Chief Lance DeSoto, First Officer Ann Fletcher are going to go into the airlock of this crashed alien probe ship. And the mission is to take out that Sentinel. And so let's go over and take a look at the map layout and some of the tokens and things and the dice and the alien activation cards, and we'll look at the individual characters and their abilities, and then take a quick look at how the game's played, and then, like I said, next episode we'll get right into it. But before we do that, I'll just show you the second page of the setup. So it tells you the objective, tells you the number of Rocketeers that can play the mission, so 2 to 4. The objectives to kill the Sentinel. And then it tells you all the tokens you need to set up, the discovery tokens, any special rules. So the special rules on this one is the alien tokens, when you flip them over, bugs do not appear in this scenario. So there are space bugs, but they are not going to happen in this scenario, just the saucerman. And the Rocketeer starting items, each Rocketeer starts with only an atomic rifle and no other starting items. And there's no red alert stage. It's a little more complicated rules, and they have a little bit of flavor text. And of course they have a neat illustration here of the, I guess, the alien probe ship coming to crash on Mercury. All right, now let's go take a look at the setup and some tokens, the dice, and some cards. All right, so high level here. Our player characters start in the airlock, and you'll see there's a little black arrow here on the tile. You can start it any way you want. I'm just putting it this way. And so what it means is every time you flip over a tile, they all have to have their arrow oriented in the same direction. So that just makes where the placing of the tile is very simple. Each tile has either open spaces or airlock doors. So you'll see that. Some have vents, some don't. Bugs come in vents, but there's no bugs in this scenario. Each of the tiles for this scenario has a discovery token on it, so there's something to be found there. And of course, the alien tokens. So we're going to flip the alien tokens over and see which aliens there are. Now, this game comes with 8 10-sided dice. I have swapped out my 8 10-sided dice. I'm using the Tomb dice, the Tomb game. The reason I'm doing it is this game, a success on an attempt to do something is a 1, 2, or 3 on a 10-sided. Well, these 10-sided dice, the green ones from Tomb, have 1, 2, 3 sides with an axe on them, and the rest are blank. And so very easily we can see if you're rolling 5 dice and you roll them, boom, we have 1, 2, 3 successes, 2 blanks. Makes the game, I think, a little easier. Of course, not everyone's going to be able to get a hold of tomb dice, so you can just go with the 1, 2, 3 as a success. There are tokens here to open hatches, seal hatches, destroy hatches, and lock hatches. So that will happen on some of the seals. The discovery tokens you see here, these green ones, as we explore the probe ship, we can find things like the time warp, telepathy band, heat ray, proton blade, mentality helmet, the force field belt, x-ray goggles, and the grav wave generator. So these are the things we can find in the ship. And so let's take a look at the alien activation cards. These basically, and of course on the back they have pictures of what you're looking at. And so each one tells you which order they go in. So the leaders are second, they go first, then the Spossermen, then Sentinels. And each one will get into the details. It tells you what they do, their overkill effects, and those such things. All right, let's zoom down now on the characters and take a look at them and their special abilities. All right, so we're looking at First Officer Annie Fletcher here. And I should also mention that this playthrough is likely not going to be coming up one episode per day. I'm in the middle of crazy time right now, and that's why it's been a big gap between playthroughs. And I will try and get one playthrough done a month for the next few months, but I cannot promise anything. All right, so the miniature, in this game they come with little plastic bases, and of course she's the orange color, so she has the orange plastic base. Again, the miniatures are very nice. If you're into painting, these would be pretty awesome minis to paint. Of course, I'm not into painting. My eyesight's not as good anymore to do that. All right, so it basically on the card, it tells you your actions. You can attack with a weapon, you can move, you can open a hatch, you can heal, you can analyze an item. There's none in this scenario, but you can. Subdue a brain or a thrall, not going to happen in this scenario. And her talent is move out once per game turn. All right, and her talent happens on overkill. And free actions, you can pick up items for free. That's not of any action cost. You can use gear. So once you get gear, so for instance, let's take a look at the time warp. It has 3 with a green cube symbol here. You put 3 green cubes on it. You can use this 3 times. And to use it, it does not cost an action. So that's how items use. And you can exchange items with another player if you're in the same location, including oxygen. So there's an order marker. You can play from 1 to 6 players. This scenario is 2 to 4. And so we're going to have First Officer going first, and Lance DeSoto is going to be going second. And you can change that in between turns, just keeping in mind that the person that went last, if the alien is closest to the last person that went, that is who the alien will attack. And so because First Officer Annie Fletcher here only has 4 hit points, I think it's in our best interest to have Lance DeSoto, who has 6 hit points, going last each turn. So in case the aliens get a chance to attack, they're going to attack the person with the most hit points. And now down here there's oxygen, and it says if there's 2 Rocketeers, you get 6 oxygen cubes each. If there's 3 or 4, if there's 4 Rocketeers, 3. If there's 5 to 6, you only get 2. And you can spend oxygen once per game turn to get 1 standard extra action. Now, First Officer Annie Fletcher here has a non-combat action, so that is like opening doors, closing doors, moving. She cannot use this to use a weapon to attack with, but she has 2 regular actions, and of course she can use an oxygen to get 1 more action. So we're going to stick her in the airlock, so she's going to be beginning the game. And let's take a look at the atomic rifle. This is the same for both Annie Fletcher and our First Officer, our Chief Lance DeSoto. So it's an atomic rifle, it's a large gun. It has an overkill ability, which is dislodge, move 1 alien in line of sight 1 tile. And we'll see if that comes into play. How this works at the bottom is if you are in the same space with something you were shooting at, you're going to roll 2 dice. If you're 1 tile away, you get to roll 5. 2 tiles away, roll 5 dice, and 3 tiles away is 3 dice. And of course they all have to be in line of sight. And line of sight is pretty simple in this game. All right, let's take a look now at Chief Lance DeSoto. All right, so Lance DeSoto here again, he is the purple color, and he's got his little purple miniature here. Again, really cool miniatures. Again, if you can paint, wow, these guys would be nice to paint up, but not for me. I'm going to stick him on the airlock. All right, so he's going to be going second in scan order. And again, he's the same actions, but his overkill now is called Strafe. and it says, per overkill spent, inflict a free hit on any target in range or line of sight. And First Officer Annie Fletcher's was, she gets to move herself or another player 1 space on overkill. Now what overkill does, or how it works, is you're rolling these dice. And if you're trying to shoot something, of course, you're going to want a hit or a success. So if you get a success, you hit. If you get a second success, that is called overkill. And you can start spending overkill on your special actions. So you can use your overkill on the weapon you're using. You can use the overkill ability of your character, or there's also an overkill ability on each of the alien cards that you can use. So you have options to which overkill to use if you get them. Now, if we're looking at Chief Lance Toto, he has a combat action here. He can only use a combat action for this action point, and of course he has 2 regular ones. He has 6 hit points, or 6 health. He has 6 oxygen because there's 2 players. And I think that pretty much covers that. I'm just going to show you a game turn in the back of the book, and then after that will be the end of this episode, intro and setup, and then next episode we'll be getting right into playing the game. Again, not 100% sure just how much you can read of this, but in a nutshell, the game turns. So the Rocketeers are going to go first. And the first thing is the order phase, so you decide who's going first, who's going second, third, fourth, whichever. Then there's the scanning phase. You must scan a tile that is closest to you that has not been scanned. So it means you flip over the tile and you take a look at the tokens and see what's there. Then you have the actions phase. So the Rocketeer whose turn it is going to take the actions that are available to them. And then you go to the next Rocketeer, and the next Rocketeer, next Rocketeer. So this is all the Rocketeers going. And in our game here, we have 2 of them. So we're going to do the order, scan, and action phase twice. And then we're going to get to the alien turn. So what happens on the alien turn is they give you a list of who goes in what order. So Brains in a Jar would go first, then Saucerman Leaders, then Saucerman Sentinels, Thrall, Space Bugs, and Leeches. And so part of the alien turn here tells you how they go. So if we have Saucerman, the card tells you how they activate the AI. So it's pretty simple. Then we get into the cleanup. So all stunned aliens recover, if there are any. Remove all hatch open markers. So basically we need to manually open hatches. They close automatically at the end of the turn. Remove the hatch locked markers and staggered markers off Sentinels. And that's one of the overkill abilities on Sentinels. You can stagger them. Then you reset all the Rocketeers' action points back to what they have available. Oh, and there is a mind control section on the Rocketeer sheets. So if a leader, I believe, has the mind control ability, gets an overkill on one of our characters, they can basically rob them of 1 action point for the next turn. And so from there, that's what this is all about. And then you collect the order scan markers and set them aside for the order phase of the next Rocketeer turn. So you basically are going to rinse and repeat and do this. So our particular mission here is we had this probe crash on Mercury. We need to go into the alien ship and clean up, and we need to take out that great big monstrosity Sentinel alien. And that will win us the scenario. And of course we lose the scenario if any one of the Rocketeers is killed. And how you can be killed is if you have 0 hit points, you're dead. Likewise, if you have 0 oxygen, you suffocate and die as well. So you need to make sure you have some health and some oxygen, or you'll lose the game. All right, well, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Join me for the next episode when we're going to get right into the turns. So we have Chief Lance DeSoto, First Officer Annie Fletcher, are in the airlock, ready to go into this alien probe ship and hunt down the Saucerman and then the Sentinel with their atomic rifles. So join me next time, and we'll see how well we do. We're playing the first scenario of Space Cadets Away Missions. Again, thanks so much for watching, and join me next time.